Okay, guys, we just want to make sure that you guys have enough time to actually go through the process of watching your codes process the returns. And again, all the terms that are covered in your guide are also going to be on video tutorial. So you can listen. You can even listen to the audio in your car, drive around, so you can listen to the terms and go from there. We see that we have a question. Will we need to mail the non-compete document back to you, or can we sign it, scan it, and email it back? You can email it back. You can just email it back, scan it,
take a picture of it,
and email it back, or take a picture of it and email it back.
you gotta explain how to take a picture too.
Right.
And in the email you can send, because there's normally an explanation of how to take that picture flat, four corners close.
Right, right. So, yeah, you can, Reverend Dr. McCray, we can get that, you get that to you, and then you can sign it and email it back and scan it, or take a photo and text it to us, however you want to do that. It's up to you. Okay, so I just want to do a quick reminder also. You guys have videos called the due diligence videos that are located in your system, in your just real quickly, in your agents portal. I can get back to it. Okay.
That's how many people been show of hands. How many people been looking at the due diligence videos?
Okay, just a show of hands. I need to know how many people have been reviewing the due diligence videos, because these are very, very, very important videos that you need to watch, that tells you what the IRS, what the requirements by the IRS, period. These are, and they're quick, very short videos. Okay, we got a couple of hands raised. Okay. Okay. Okay, Teenager McGee is going to answer that question.
Okay, will we need to mail on that question's been asked already? Very good. Okay, not yet. Okay. Any more questions before we begin? We want to, I guess, start on the software this evening and go over just some new aspects. As you know, from the past couple of weeks, we've done 1040EZ and 1040A. And those videos are in the last two sessions, the first and second session, so you can easily see what's been done in those videos. Now, what I'm going to do this evening is just carry them a little bit further. We're going to do the Michigan return, so you'll get a chance to see how that's done. Very good. And you'll also get a chance to see how we can process the payment at the end. Now, we won't be able to follow all the way through to the electronic filing, because the season is over for that, and they won't show the bank fees that you need to see. But we'll be able to show in a video in the coming weeks what that is, what that entails. Okay. What's that? All right. Can I see your mouse? Because this thing is a little bit too big for me to be working with. 1 minute, please. I'm going to get that one.
All right, we see a couple of hands that were raised that actually are folks that actually reviewed the due diligence videos, or just at least up to video 3 and 4, which is good. And we want you to review all of them. You will be kind of quizzed on these videos at the end of the session. So you may want to go ahead and start looking at them. Right now, we have you looking at 1 through 4, and they're really short videos, so they're not lengthy at all.
Okay, while that's populating, now there's no need to really go over the login again because, like I said, it's in the last couple of videos. So it's easy to look at that, and I think Coach LaDonna did go over some of that this evening. Okay. Now, if there's any questions at any time, be sure to raise your hand and ask that. Fantastic. James. Yeah, it's good to stay ahead of the curve if you can spend a little time and do your due diligence videos, get them out the way. It's just pretty simple, and they just give you a great idea of what to expect and what the IRS is looking at and how you should perform in some of the cases that are going to come up. Now, okay, I think if I got the Y on that one. Let me see. Very good. Now let's begin. What we're going to do is just take it from last week's return, and we're just going to add some components to it to speed up on time. We know that these meetings are a little lengthy, and we don't want to go too long, so I'm going to shorten it up by covering the new material and just reviewing what we did last week. Now, again, when you come to this portion of the manager, after you've logged in, after you come here and you're going to hit Client Manager and Manage Return. We're going to click there. If you're looking at a client that you already have, and let me see if I can move this thing here. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. It's Reverend Eel in Oklahoma. That's good. Thank you. Let's see, said the blind man. Kim Wills is who we're going to work with today. And when you get to this page, what you do is go to the edit. Now I will go back and show you that some of these returns are real. And this one, for instance, let's just look at this one. As you notice, I can't click the edit. Once you submit a return, you can't go back and do anything to it. It's out of your hand. So you want to make sure you double check, get as much as you can possibly done. Of course, they will be rechecked again before it's able to be submitted. But when you're in that position, once you edit a return, once you process a return, you cannot edit it. Okay. And we're going to go to Ms. Kim again. And we're going to hit edit. As you notice, let me see. So far, she's receiving $6,000. This is your manager. Is it ready for e-file? Not quite. We got more money to see if we could process in this return. A state, Michigan State. And there is possibilities for a greater return to happen here. As you also see the payment details, client payment, ready to e-file. This happens after you've gone through the payment, and that'll light up as well. Then you're ready to queue, which will be up here, and it'll be queued and in the system. So Also, at this point, it says view and print. We'll show you that at a later date too. If you have to see a return, or at the end, you're going to email the client the return. This is how you're going to do it. But going to click here, you're going to click everything that they need to see and they need to receive, and you're going to email that to them, their return after everything is said and done. Okay, we're going to hit edit. Direct input, make sure you're in direct input. And let me see what happens if you do this other input. The information, this is the interview mode. You're going to hit save and continue. And again, we remember when you hit a new return, this is what you'll come to. And you're just going to hit the X to get that out. And you're going to return it to the direct mode that you see here. Okay. Okay. From Adam, he's got a question on coaching him and his team. That is a possibility. We can also coach your team from, like I said, Viva Team Viewer or Zoom. If you're out of state, that's no problem. Set up a date with the manager, and I'm sure that can be arranged.
Right. This person shared with us, Adam and his team of agents. I guess they completed some returns and thought it was a pretty good process. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. Now we're going to hit the edit button to continue this return. Going to hit direct mode. It's going to go back to this mode that we love so well. Okay. As you know, as just a quick review, in this bottom corner here, let me see if I can make this small. This is really big on this computer here. There we go. This is a return in the bottom left corner. These are all your files in the top left corner. Over here are useful links that would help you if you have any questions or doubts about what to do with a certain aspect of the return. You can always come here. The bottom right is where all your forms are that you've accumulated. You can always go back and look at them. Here's the 1040 form here. Filled up.
Now these are forms that have populated that you've already pretty much completed, or they're being processed to complete, right?
Yeah, so.
Okay.
As you can see, she has $3,000 from earned income credit. These are the taxes she paid, $32.24, and the CTC, which is the $600 that was given, a return of $6,921. Thus far. Now, again, also in this left corner is filed forms. These are the forms that is attached to this return. If you want to see anyone anytime what's been done to do some additional work, you can go here.
You added the dependents already?
Yeah, this form is already done from last week, as I was reiterating that. I'm just continuing from that point, and we're going to do some extra things to it. Okay. Okay. It's good to see somebody working that's looking forward to make some of this good money that's available. Yes, Reverend Eel in Oklahoma. Okay. I just want to reiterate that this is a national business, and we know somebody somewhere. I'm trying to talk to a cousin in Atlanta right now because I like to get down in that Atlanta region of the country. And I also know someone in New York that I've been talking to. So feed them information. There's nothing I can do but share that information and encourage the folks to see if we can have a beachhead somewhere else. So you can grow your business the same way. Okay, where are we here? Okay, so these are the forms to the side that we've already have done. with this return, as you can see, it's been populated. Like I said, I'm not going to go through it. These two are in your video. The last 2 weeks, you can just go over it for details. Insurance, no marketplace. 1095A has been done. We've done all months. Head of household, address, checking account has been done. And we're going to hit save on that one. We're going to show the dependents. Go over the W-2 really quick, and then we'll proceed with the return. Takes it a minute to process. And dependent right here. She has one daughter. She receives the Earned Income Credit, TCT, which is a child tax credit, and she's a dependent. When you get all three of these boxes checked, you receive a larger return. She's 8 years old, as we can see, social. We always double check these figures to make with the client to make sure, or if they're not, if they're by remote or whatever, we look at the double check the documents, the Social Security card, the birth certificate, whatever we have, the health records, and you'll get a chance to see those as well. Because we're going to just briefly go through them to speed up time and just to show it to you. And feel free to ask questions at any time. This box needs to be checked. Head of household qualifier, that's what this box is going to ask you to check it if you didn't check it. Oh, there's no dependent on here. Wait a minute, I've hit a new dependent, that's what happened. Let's go back, excuse me. I don't want to hit new. I wanted to hit edit. Okay, and Miss Emily is right here. A daughter with social and birth date and age. She's already been checked for head of a household, claimed as EIC, Earned Income Credit. We talked about this form. If a child is being taken care of by daycare or a babysitter that wouldn't mind, if you want to claim her, you do have to have that person's Social Security number.
It could be a grandmother, it could be an aunt, it could be a sister, it could be anybody, as long as you can get their address, name, and Social Security number.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let's see, where else can we go? The same information goes for the mother. In this case, with a child, sometimes you may have an employer, and that would go there. Does not have to file their own tax return, no. And we're going to hit save on that one. Okay. And let's see, said the blind man. Had a big smile on my face. I was thinking about Baltimore because we have another beachhead that started in Baltimore. So it's getting exciting. How about that? But we want to be able to. Matter of fact, we have two ministers on a record right now on the webinar, and I like to share one concept that another minister gave me today.
Bishop Snyder.
Yeah. He was sharing that he's going to the different ministers to share with them that they need, as it could be a fundraiser or whatever, if you want to raise 5 or 6 figures for that church in this 4-month period, just set you an agent in that church where all your members could come with confidence and get their taxes repaired. That's one good selling tactic or advice to give to ministers or pastors with churches or whoever you would talk to in that church to possibly take advantage of the tax season. And they can add a great number of income to their church by doing so.
So it would be a fundraiser.
It could be a fundraiser.
It could be a fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and let's see, said So we just did Emily. We want to look at the 1095B. This is a form that is attached to the insurance. Hit edit. As you can see, there's the primary, Kim, and the dependent, which would be pre-populated, whichever you hit. But since she's in charge, in this case, hit the government. This is for the employer. You submit that information, the EIN number, which you do have here for the state, their information. You're also going to have to hit the plus sign here, where you're just going to edit. And what it does is you populate the name. This is Emily. How many months they had. If they didn't have the full 12, you put how many months they had. Okay, we're going to say the full 12. Save that. And that would go for both Kim and Emily. Names down here under her care. And we're just going to hit save and continue on that. And that's pretty much what we did for this return on last week. And she received like so far $6,921. Now we're going to proceed. I think did we get to the completion of this? Let's see. Verify. We did. But just before we continue, it's going to be a separate video, but it's to keep the videos a little shorter. The 8867, which is the due diligence. Now this is very important. The IRS will be peeking because they will get a copy of that sheet, this form. Let's see here. This is what it looks like when you give a return to your client. This information to be in it, or if you had to mail it to the IRS, this is what it'll look like. And these are just the same answers we just put in here. I don't see no answer here, but I think it's confidential here, but they do, they are able to see what you type in. Let's see if we do have anything here. And normally what I'll put in is client gave ID for children, health records, W-2s, all requiring documentation, something saying that they've met the requirements. They want to know that you retained any records. They did submit some records to prove that this child is eligible for earned income credit and the CTC, which is a child tax credit. You want to put something in there saying that you received documents, you saw documents, and you retained documents. And you're going to hit save on that one. And also, like I said, you can go over the video and read these. When you perform a return, make sure you understand what they're saying. But for most returns, it'll look like this. And it's just checking. Did you make reasonable inquiries to determine correct or complete information? This would have been, if we had said yes, we could answer that question. And that question pertains to, did any information provided by the taxpayer, a third party, or reasonable known to you in connection with the preparing the return appear to be incorrect, incomplete, or inconsistent? And in this case, everything was well, so we hit no. Thank you, Adam, for sharing that information. Okay. And I'm hoping that we're getting some good information. I think, started to say Sister McGee, but Sister McGee has done some hard work on this information to get this information to you guys. And I mainly just do a lot of research and development and a lot of little aspects, but everybody has their role to play in making this business work for you. Okay, and these are just the rest of the questions that you'll see. And I just want you to take a peek of that. Okay, let's see. Now, as we did go to complete, we had yes, yes. We did do the information, which is, I think it was 8879. And this is the EIRO number that you put in, and you just populate a number by hitting here, and birth date. This is just to identify that the tax has been done. Additional information, which is the license, and no need to really show that, but I'll just peek at. We'll just peek at it. It's all been populated. I mean, well, we wrote it out. And this is what you have: the issue date, expired date. When you look at it, it's going to say that 2 or 3 times, different ways. We looked at the ID that's valid. And if it was remote or not, we say no in this case. Now, we're going to continue with the return. Okay, we're going to the Michigan portion. This is what it looks like. You hit that little blue tab next to the federal. Filing status, we're going to hit revisit. Now, these are the only 2 categories we're going to be concerned with. It's for, there's a special renter's credit when someone is renting and they've paid some heating bills. We can get them a few extra dollars back by using this 1040 CR7 form. And you're going to use page 2 for renters. They do have something for homeowners, but for renters mostly, they can get a little extra back because of that. Let's see. Yeah, if you don't have a valid ID on that question of identification, if you don't have a valid ID, that happened last year, and we did the return. We said, I'm not holding it back because you don't have everything in order. Well, I said, we did all the returns. I said, now go down to the Secretary of State, get that done. As soon as you get it done, I can submit this return. And that works. As far as this credit in other states, sure, you can qualify for the loans in any state that they'll approve you. They just approve you by, I guess, your name and your credit history or whatever. Mainly it's off the returns that you got before. If you got a return coming, you got a return last year, it's pretty much you can get that advance. Okay, great questions. Okay. I missed one. Yeah, renter's credit. That's what we're talking about. Yep. Thank you, sir.
You can get a renter's credit from each state, from every state?
No, that's what it's asking. Oh, no. It depends on your state, and we would have to look up and research because every state doesn't have it for sure. Okay. Every state doesn't have that. I know Michigan has it and maybe a few others, but if you're fortunate enough to get that extra money from them, that will be fine. I don't think Oklahoma has it.
But Oklahoma had a credit where if you purchased a new car, they would give you a credit. Most
definitely. You get that always, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got a new car, if you pay for a car, own a car, definitely for expenses that you pay, maintenance, gas, a lot of those categories we can cover. And we'll go into that when we do the profit and loss for Schedule C, whether some type of business, whether it's self-employment or that you might have. Let me see. We had a guy that did last year. I think he did renovations or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And he wrote the renovations off.
Yeah, he got 1095, 1099 hours, and had a lot of expenses. And the mileage helped him out tremendously. You know, it brings a smile to my face to see that we were able to get them something that they didn't get the year before. So that's pretty good. That happens quite a bit. So I'm glad to see that. Okay, now we go to 1040 CR. Click on it. And what you want to do is find out the county that you live in. I think this one is in Wayne. Are your heating costs currently included in your rent, or is it the best service in someone else's name? He's in somebody else's name. No, for mostly all three of these, they're going to be populated already because that's what it's expecting. Do you want the name and address referred to other government assistance programs for which you are qualified? No. Do you or your spouse now receive supplemental Social Security SSI? In this case, no. Amount you were billed for the heating bill between 11/1/2015, 10/31/2016, this year, say 16 and 17. And let's just say you pay 150 average per year. It gets a little bit more in the winter and a little less maybe in the summer, but right around averaging 150. That's a total of, let's see, $18.10 that you paid. You're not in a nursing home, foster care, licensed home for the age of substance abuse center. Number of days you owned or rented the occupied the Michigan homestead. We're going to say 365. This is a leap year. I think last year was a leap year, wasn't it? 365 is we're good though. Okay. Did you receive a refund for the heat provided last year overpayment? Say no. And mainly all these figures will be populated. If there's anything in here, if you got SSI, these figures will populate for you. Unemployment compensation, these are already would be in the return, and these will just pop up for you. You're going to hit save. Okay, as you notice, nothing really happened as far as the money. In the bottom right left corner here, he still owes $95. Okay, and now we go to the second page here. Homeowners, that's for this top half here, homestead. Number of days occupied, more than 365. None here. Landlord information. Okay, I'm going to put an address in here. L Street. We're going to say that's for the homestead for 2016, but where you lived for rent. We're going to put down a landlord's name for the here and the monthly rent amount. Again, you put that in again. And you got to put the landlord's information in. This is unique that I learned a few years ago, that receipt brings a little bit extra in this credit. Have dollars into equipment expenses, markets, but most definitely you can. You're going to learn in the coming weeks. All these expenses you're naming right now are easily be written off, and you'll be happy to be able to write these things off. We'll probably find some new expenses that you're probably not thinking about. When I go to McDonald's, my wife and I have to have a business meeting. We're going to talk about some business on our way to the job, let's say the office. What makes a mileage be able to be written off? You got to be going somewhere to do business, or so if I just went from my home to my office, that's considered just commuting. But If I stopped off at Donuts and we had to have a meeting to discuss that we
Stopped off at Donuts.
yeah, stopped at a Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay.
And we discussed, had some coffee, and we discussed a few things that made those mileage turn into business miles. And those are the things that get the extra miles to give you the extra income to take off the money from the account. I mean, I'm having a brain separation here. Having the taxable income. Okay, I'm back. Now, we're going to finish completing this information here. Populate that.
Now, there was one question that was asked: does the person have to have a notarized lease agreement to verify rent?
Notified, what now?
A notarized lease agreement, a lease to verify rent. How does a person can prove that they're actually?
Well, they just bring a lease agreement in. We don't have to. They don't have to be notarized. No, doesn't have to be notarized unless it's something I haven't found out. Okay. You want to get the name of the business. We're going to call it Paul's Place, and the address. And we're going to put in how many months out the year. We're going to put 12. The rent you paid. This person paid, let's say, $1,100. Maybe kind of high, maybe kind of low. And in a mobile home taxes, if any, no. We're going to hit yes or save. And we're going to hit save here. And as you can see, it turned our old money into money they owe us now, a return. Okay, so very simply, and just to review that pretty quickly, renters can get extra because of the heat when they pay their rent, and they pay a heating bill, and they put in for, I guess, the owner's information. Basically, that's it. Just fill those two forms out here, 1040 CR and 1040 CR2, page 2. And usually you can get a little bit more extra for renters in this situation. Okay. Now we switch back to the federal. We've completed the returns. We have reviewed it with our client. We have reviewed with the documents to make sure each one of these numbers are correct, which you definitely want to make sure of. You don't want to write a wrong number. It slows the process of the client. And believe me, messing with people's money will make them perturbed. So you want to make sure you double check, spell the names correctly. Don't be in a hurry. Always double check. Okay, we've got a signature. That's what it looks like. You come to the signature, you click on modify, and it looks good to me. And if it doesn't look good, I've had clients that decided it doesn't look good enough and they want to try it a couple more times. And when they see that some of them do pretty decent. You know, you can take your time and do a little better.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so we save that information. Okay. Now we're going to close and return on here. Let's see, we got a question. Can I go back to which you want to go back to, the Michigan? Oh, the sign, okay. Does the rent have to make sense? Now, this is a very good question. That before I answer your question, Colin, go back. Reverend Eels asked, does the rent have to make sense, like not being more than the livable income? Now, you do have people that will give you a figure. That's why we do ask for if you do have a receipt, a bill of what you're paying on average. I have a client, he has all his stacked up. I keep all my records.
What kind of bill? What bill you referring to?
What's the gas bill?
Oh, well,
that's the
okay.
heating bill. And if he keeps a bill, keeps his bill, he's pretty much to be on point of what his average could be, and he won't run into any discrepancies. But this particular client, he didn't. I think he's kind of retired. And he only gets Social Security or something like that. And I think that's what Reverend Neal is talking about. You want to be sure that it makes sense.
Well, like if he's paying $1,000, but his income a month is only $700, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
For him to be able to afford that much, so the rent has to make sense in terms of what he can afford, because the IRS could deny it.
Well, that's a red flag.
That's a red flag,
and
right.
Gives you a way to ask that due diligence question. Does it make sense? Does it seem to be incorrect, or doesn't seem right? And you need to be aware of what does make sense or not, and ask them one way or another, because you don't want to put anything in here. Okay. And we're going to go to Carla's question. She wants to go back and see the sign, so we can, I guess, see a little bit more of that and understand what happened here. Okay, looks like I've been kicked out, so what I do is go back, and that may happen. You may get timed out from time to time.
And that's a security precaution.
Okay. We're going back to the signature. Okay, what did you want to see exactly, Carla? Can you give me an idea? If you just want to go over it again, I'll do that. These will be pre-populated. The federal, the state, the bank products, the earned income credit, these are already pre-populated. And to get a signature, you scroll down, it'll say start here. You click on the start, and then you
can use your finger or your mouse or a tablet.
Well, if you're in the office,
you're getting better at this.
Well, I can take my time and do a little better.
Also, all the pre-pop forms that he just showed you, all your signature is going on all those forms.
Okay, very good. Thank you for the question. But I guess I wasn't as clear, but it's in the videos. It's explained in the videos from last week. But yeah, you're right, Carla. I did want to go over that a little bit more intently.
That the signature goes on all those forms. It's about a 40 documents in one copy that's sent to the client.
Yeah, this goes on all the documents. Also, if it was a spouse here, which we'll cover next week, we would do a married file with dependents, and probably some more avenues. You're going to cover Schedule A, Schedule C, school documents, show you how to cover those, and some of these write-offs for itemizing. The Schedule C will be important when you get ready to do that one. You definitely want, that's the money maker for a lot of people on the demographics of under 30,000, where you can get people more income, more return, more on the return. And it's a good market to go out there because they get a lot of residual income from that, you know. So it's a great market that gives, put you in a different bracket to get a bigger fee, and they get a bigger fee from the government. So all our prices are pretty much locked in. They're fixed. We're not trying to gouge anybody because you're getting a $10,000 or $15,000 check. Well, you know, we're just happy to help, and glad to see you come back next year. So.
Well, that's illegal too.
What is?
If you charge a percentage of a person's refund,
well,
the IRS requires that all agencies have to have a locked fee, and that's it. They can't charge a percentage. Ooh, that'd be terrible.
Well, I don't think I haven't heard anybody do that, but I'm pretty sure you probably read up on that one. Okay. Okay, so let's close this out and finish this one up. I know everybody's, we had a couple of breaks. Now, as you remember, it's time to hit the client payment. As you can see now, the figure is coming in for the state that we have, and the state, the federal money. We're going to hit on client payment. Out of all this, we're going to hit add new invoice. You can read this at your own leisure. And what you see is some standard prices, $250 for the federal and $50 for the state is what we charge. This other information is already populated. You want to make sure it says payment. And I think this has been changed a little bit from last year as well. Yeah, the federal and state, you want to hit both of those. And you want to hit banking. You want to make sure this is, you don't want to hear it say non-banking.
Yes,
you want to make sure.
Definitely want to hit banking.
Yep, stop. Now, modify. Some folks, I may even give a break, or we may have to add something because they want more. Now, if a person wanted a website, we're able to do a website for a person. Modest fee of $295 for that. If a person wanted us to do their EIN processing, we only charge $50 for that. Schedule C is $100, I'm sure. If somebody wants to do something different, you know, they want a brochure for their business or invoice layout, we have a department that will help you out with these modest prices, which is what they are.
Yes, they are. Also, yeah, these are for individuals who are self-employed, just to add to that.
Or if they have their own business or doesn't have the documentation or the paperwork they want, we can help them out. Right. So these are also fees that would help you get a better return on your fee as well. If they, and we advise you, you might want to do some of these things. We'll talk about that in the future as well, of how you could partner and receive a larger income for or larger commission because of that. Articles of incorporation. Now we do encourage the articles of incorporation. It's $60 to the state, and we do it for an extra $100 for processing. We do it for $100, but we do collect both. So we would, you know, and a lot of times if a person is making enough money, they'll just take it right out of that money.
Their refund money.
Yeah. This is the logo design. And I think this is pretty much covering at this point. Seasonal discounts for seniors and students, we do those. And that's where you, if you want to come over here and modify, take some money off, you can come here and click on one of these and it'll take that money off for you. And you got to put in the description. You got to put down how much money you want to take out, additional charges if you want to add, and what that charge would be. And that would go here. So there's your modification, discount area, and additional charges. Okay, and then we would hit continue. Now, when the season starts, this will have a little bit more in it. It'll have whether you want a card, whether you want to get an advanced loan, and a spot for us to give you a card on the spot. Like I think Ms. McGee said earlier, that you will get a set of credit cards or debit cards. And you will peel off one of those, a sealed envelope with a number on the outside, the little window. You'll copy that number, put that in the box that's going to show up, and you give them their new card. And all the information will be put in correctly, and make sure double check everything. I always can't reiterate that enough, to double check all these numbers, and give them their card, and when the money comes, it'll come right on that card. I'm going to mark the invoice as completed here, not payment right now. We're going to say invoice, and if we want to return e-file, we would say yes, hit continue. Now we do hit Michigan here, and we can't hit transmit, but it's also another page right before this where it has the bank fees. You got to put the license in again of the person. I think that's pretty much it. It's going to ask, I guess, the issue date and the expiration date again. You're going to ask if they wanted their money on card and a text sent to their telephone number. I think it's going to ask that. And it's going to show you the couple of bank fees that they have, that you can go over that with the client. So this is the bank fees that you have to do with, but you let them know up front. So when their extra money comes, so they won't forget, which they sometimes do, that you've shown them that the bank fees were included and that you have nothing to do with this because of the transmission electronic filing. Okay, so that pretty much concludes. Today we did the Michigan. We finished up review the 1040 form that we did last week. We want to add to the same form because it saves time when we do it. We're just going to add the extra components. We're going to go over, like we did today, really quickly, the components that you already seen for new people that are just starting and still coming in. They get a chance to see that as well. And they can look at the videos to get the full blast of it, but just a quick overview. And then we'll cover the new aspect each week. And next week it's going to get more intense. It's still easy, just plugging numbers in and knowing where to put some of these numbers into the form. Okay, anything else I need to say? You want to say anything at this point? What is the Q? I think it's supposed to be Q.
Q, okay.
It's supposed to be Q. The Q is when after you, yes, UE. The Q is when you hit this button, it goes up to where we said in the manager in the front. Let's show you that. And we'll go back to Miss Wheels. We'll hit edit. Oh, I've hit edit too fast. I can't go back, so I got to hit save and continue. Got to hit close. Yes, we're going to go out. Now, you see it says ready to e-file at this point. But after we hit that add to the queue, it would put it right up here that your refund has been queued, which means it's going to the system. They're going to look it over. Usually within a few hours, you'll know whether it's been accepted or not. And if it hasn't, we showed you what a reject looks like, what was wrong, and they'll tell you what was wrong, and you fix it and put it back in.
So what's the difference between queued and transmit?
Basically the same thing.
Okay. So you
want to hit transmit to put it through, and then it's going to show up here as a queued, as it's been queued. Okay. All right. I think that concludes my portion. I think Mrs. McGee is going to close it out for you guys. If any last questions, feel free to think about it. Write your questions down. Go into the agent portal. Start looking at some of these videos for homework. And if you got your passwords for the software, start practicing putting these numbers in and get familiar with the system. And any questions? Write them down on email. God bless you, and we'll see you at the top.
All right. Coach T, thank you so much for that. We appreciate this. Just quickly, I want to again remind you to check out your due diligence videos. You definitely want to look at those, and you don't have to stop at looking at the first four. You know, some of you guys have already actually watched all of the due diligence videos and also share them with the people in your team. We've got quite a few people that's in the training today that has, 4 or 5 people on their team. I think we got about 30 folks looking at this presentation just today alone, and not everybody is a part of the training for today. So we've got a nice group of folks participating, and we've got quite a few outside of the state of Michigan. But yeah, you want to remember to do that. You want to start looking at your orientation kit for agents. For those who are franchise partners, you want to get those packets to, your agents so they can fill them out and start ordering their PTIN numbers. And, you want to start working on this stuff now so you won't be caught up at the last minute trying to get things done. Just take a look at them, get them into us, when you can. Also, we want to remind you that we will be sending out emails of the covenant not to compete agreement and anything else that needs to go out. And also, we'll let you know when the MailChimp video will be completed, because I think you're going to really like that. And also terms, some of the terms that you need to know. We prefer videotaping the terms because it's easy to read them, but when you can kind of give a little input on each term and examples on each term, it helps tremendously in you understanding the whole dynamics of what we're talking about here.
Okay. And I want to make one more point. Work on your list. If you need any help with that list, inviting people and getting people to come over the hump, you need somebody else to talk to them. We've done that before. We have other people with experience that can help you get these people over the hump and get them started, get them going. But the main thing is these people need to be in your training so they can get the training and start early as possible for you to get the largest return and take advantage of the tax season. Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us, and you guys have a great evening, a great week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.